Hello and welcome to the Books of the Month show. I'm your host today, Joel Trout, and we love to focus on and highlight authors who have some compelling stories to tell. And it's my distinct pleasure to welcome back again to Books of the Month, Mr. Pradeep Berry.
Thank you very much, sir.
We really enjoy highlighting new books that are out there and the different types of books that are presented. This one is very compelling because it's essentially a book totally about his wife, who is now departed, but it's such a compelling story that we had to bring Pradeep back to talk more about it because we really didn't have enough time to really cover the story of his wife, Connie. And so today we want to continue talking about your wife. You know, most women would love for their husband to write this much about them.
Yes, absolutely.
This is an amazing love story.
Yes.
And tell everybody once again about your love story. You came here at the age of 26.
With $7.
With $7. You were living in Chicago.
Yes.
And working at an Indian restaurant.
Yes.
And in walks Connie.
Yes, she walks in there. And then immediately she recognized me, and I think, I'm sure, the love developed right away. And when she came second time, she told me that, how come you did not even come, because I gave you my telephone number. And the reason she gave me the telephone number, because I think she came as a goddess, to help me out to get out from the restaurants, because I think her friend had already sort of told her, maybe that he's very intelligent, and maybe it's time that you should think about, him. So I immediately was carried, and I remember when I went to her house, I was so impressed, and I feel sorry that I did not take anything in her house, and I asked her, just about before her death, I said, Connie, did I bring anything from your house? She said, no, because I knew that you are very poor, So look at, she saw something in my mind, and she changed my life. She immediately impacted my life into the cultivation of this country, about my dressing, about my language, about my accent, and then she wanted me to grow. And she even complained to my uncle, Dr. P.N. Beher, who came in 1979. Later on, he said, well, Pippi, Pradeep is not still taking his life very seriously. And he got very upset with me. He says, son, I told you that, you have betrayed me before because you were a chartered accountant in India and I wanted you to start. And now I don't want to hear anything. He said, you are lucky that you got Connie. And I don't want to hear. And he forced me that you also did. So both combined me. They told me that work hard, So then Connie was the main person in B. Otherwise, why would she complain to my uncle, Because she wanted me to bring something different, And I was watching the movies all the time, Indian movies. She said, instead of wasting your time, study, because education is one of the best things. It will help you. And because of her, I was so well dressed. And let me tell you one thing. I felt very honored, because when I used to tell all my employers, or employees, everybody, that I have an American wife. Mm-hmm. And that makes a difference, because Americans, they know he's part of our culture,
Right.
If I had an Indian wife, perhaps my confidence would have been less, because now I feel I belong. She was my life, an American wife. You
gave you some stature?
Yes, it gave me a statue. Like Donald Trump, his daughter is a thing, he gave her a statue.
When you went back to India,
yes.
How did they view you having an American wife?
Well, I think they accepted her very well, Mm-hmm. There were some people, in my family over here, they were saying, oh, you have to marry only Indian American wife, There were some people, in the airplane, some people there, but those are shallow people,
Shallow.
Because they don't know, they only think, the Indian, you see, they don't know the education, of her thing, Once they found out, she was educated, then the same people, they started regretting, I tell you one thing, that I remember, 3 or 4 cases, where a guy told me that, Pradeep, Is it necessary for you to this thing? I tell you one thing, in Marco Island, there was a guy. He told me that, Pradeep, why the earth, you have to marry American girl, because if you want Indian food, she will like that, So then later on, when I found out her qualification, he was crying. He said, Pradeep, you did the best thing, My whole family told me that this is the best thing, Pradeep, you have done, that you married Connie. Because Connie had not met me, I would have not taken that much interest in my working, in my education, in my this thing. I would have remained the same person like that.
Where she found you, and she found you
in a restaurant,
in an Indian restaurant,
yes,
where you were living on the top level.
Chefs, and she came and she said, this is the boarding. Is that what you're living in over there, And I tell you, 3 chefs living there. I was living in a small room, one bathroom. There was a big space, and basically I was surviving there. I had no money. The only thing was I was working, and I was sharing a tip, with everybody,
You were sharing tips.
Tips,
Now, everyone should understand, she met you there, and 5-6 days later,
and
you were married.
Yes, 6 days.
So, for those that don't believe in love at first sight, well, here's a perfect example. And in fact, after knowing her only 6 days, you stayed married for over
2 days, 3 days. One time, second time, and that was the second time when I went to her house,
Yes.
That was the day I decided, both, at least me,
yes,
that this is my fine, And I tell you one thing, when I walking, I thought in my life, that if I don't marry her, if I go back to India, I'm going to miss her very much. I came to such a situation that I told her, I said, Connie, in case I go back to India, can I be in touch with me? So then I realized myself, that it is not going to happen, Because once I go there in India, I will never be able to come back to America, because, people will think that what the heck have you done, So I said hell to that, And generally, look at, this thing. 99%, 100% people, they marry, the girls have to move, And I did not force her, because I loved her so much. I cared for her career. I cared for her family. And generally, how many people will marry and they will stay in their country? I left my country.
And you came here,
and
you didn't force her to come to
Yes.
yours.
And there was a chance, in 19, I was very desperate sometime to go back to India, and she knew this thing. And she told me, Pradeep, if you want to go to India, I will go, but I will see, because I don't know what life is there. And what would I do, because it's so much a restriction, family, I cannot have independent. And I think she was right.
Well,
now
you stayed married for 41 years.
Yeah, and now she has gone for 3 years. Now you tell me, if it was not my love, I would have gone back to India, And I can live very comfortably, because here I am paying all those taxes, it's not living, standard of living is not cheap here,
Right.
I have to pay for real estate taxes. I have a big, she left a house, I have a beautiful car, self-paid car,
I'll tell you what, Pradeep, let's continue that. And we'll be back after these messages.
Did your bank turn down your church, or you just want a competitive quote? We have some of the lowest interest rates and best terms on church loans in the country. And we have products that are fixed for up to 30 years with no balloons. Over the past 16 years, we have closed over 1,000 church loans for almost $1 billion in total closed church loans. If your church is looking to refinance, renovate, construct, or purchase a property, we have a program for you. What if your church has poor credit? We have our own private money fund that can provide up to 100% financing and interest-only payments. We don't charge any upfront fees, and our loans do not normally require any personal guarantees. Our motto is simple and clear. Tell them honestly, charge them fairly, and close them quickly. Call us today. 800-710-6762.
Welcome back, and we're continuing this amazing story that was shared to us by Pradeep Berry in his book, My Connie, in memory of my beautiful, highly academic professor and devoted wife, Connie Berry. Let's pick up where we left off. Not many men will express the impact that their wife had on their life, like you have.
Yes.
Because you came here from another country, and your wife here basically cultivated you, as you've said, in the ways of America and how to present yourself. how to even dress, even.
Yeah, that's what's more important.
How to talk, how to further your education.
Yes.
I think you shared with me that she even typed up your resume.
Yes.
To get you a better job.
Yes, and not only that, she used to check all my reports. Whenever I used to go write thing, she used to check every single thing, spelling in case there are some errors. And she taught me some grammatical mistake. And she told me that sometimes you write too much, and long sentences. So she basically weighted me in a better writing also. And she told me that I think, I understand, that it's not your foreign language, but you speak very English, She definitely was very impressed with my creative idea, She told me that you have so much creative idea. I wish you were a professor, And she told me that, and she encouraged me. I remember in 2007, we went to Norwegian cruise. Over there, I met one guy, and you never think about anybody without knowing anybody, because his dressing was lousy, but he was a very intelligent man, and he was a divorcee, and he was looking to talk to, and when he saw me, I tell you, with the Connie's impression, he was so impressed, He told me, Mr. Berry, you must make over $20,000, $30,000 a day. And I can make that one. And Connie told me, and Connie was the one who told me that why don't you start your own consulting company? And I did. And I tell you, I did very fantastically, because Connie was my power. She was behind me. She used to check all the reports, for me. And she cultivated me, and I was very successful in my own consulting company. And
this is powerful, because you're really expressing the power that one person, especially a mate, a wife.
Yes, she was my power. She was my best friend. She acted like a sister. She acted like a mother also. Chanakya has written in this book, Chanakya, that a good wife, not only a wife, your good wife is not only a wife, she's your best friend. She acts as a sister. She can act as a mother also, and she did.
Now, you told me that she was a prodigious reader. To the point that, how many books did she have in her library?
She must have read over 80,000, 100,000 books, I would say even more, because I can challenge you even right now. She has over 80,000, 90,000 books sitting in my house, And those are all very exclusive, Shakespeare, you talk about the Tahos, the paintings, the old civilization, the records, she has, back from the time of the, when we were not even born, the records. She had a record player. She was very fond of music. She was very fond of a symphony. She was very fond of watching the different intellectual program, She made me see all the Oscar-winning thing, like Ray Charles, and the Blue Baby, where this story, which, with this guy, he was a tool maker. He was black, and he was not allowed, and later on, after 12 years, he was given the honorary degree of Dr. John Hopkins, She showed me that movie,
So she brought culture into your life.
Yes, culture.
Now tell me about the fact that she had a problem with all the movie watching you were doing. And
yes, that was Indian movies, in the beginning, I used to very well go and watch movies, for 7 and she tolerated that. But after that, when it became too much, she said, you know what, you can watch 1 or 2 movies, but every day, Indian movies, when the earth you are going to learn something to do this thing. Why don't you read your paper, So I said, okay. So then she forced me into writing, She said, improve your writing, improve your damn other thing, because these are useless things. If you want to express, yourself, Regarding traveling, she told me, listen, if you were to survive, traveling is, I know it is very hard, but sometimes, you have to do whatever you do. She said, look at me, I have traveled, I have studied, I have grace to do, I am looking after the house. I tell you, till she was alive, I never did any laundry. I never bought any clothes. I never bought this thing. I was helping her, for food and for every single thing.
Right.
She motivated me to learn cooking, When I came to this country, I did not even know how to make rice. And now I'm a chef, I can get a professional chef.
My goodness.
So
she really brought a whole lot into your life.
Yes, yeah. And she knew Indian cooking. She was the best cook, I will say. I have at least 10,000 books, on the recipes, and she has 50,000 cutting thing, and I tell you, they are worth God knows how many millions of dollars. I will have to donate to some university or give it to some people. I mean, when people come to me, they see the old recipes, Mexican recipe, Italian recipe, bakery. She used to pay one of the best cream pie. She has so much incentive, to learn this thing. She was not the person, who was lazy. She one time, and she told me about sleeping, and she said, you can sleep whole your life.
She was a reader.
And she used to tell me, I still have her articles today. She was the president of our condominium association for 25 years, She was the president, even her
of
last...
what association?
Our condominium association.
Oh, your condominium
yes,
association.
yes.
She had time to do that too?
Yes, she was president for 25 years. She knew the condominium law so much, she improved the building, She was the brightest person, I can tell you this thing. I cannot understand, what she was. My knowledge was zero. And she used to take the initiative, getting the fan done, refrigerator done, and she used to pay of her own. I'm telling you this thing that basically she was supporting me.
Connie sounds like I've heard of the term a Renaissance man, but she was a Renaissance woman because she was worldly attuned. She knew about her world.
About the whole world,
what was going on around her.
Yes. She was a well-reader,
And she made sure you knew.
Yes, she knew. Like, for example, when we went to University of Michigan, in Cortona, she read the whole book, There is a book, called the Cortona, and she read the book, and she told me, have you know about why we are going? And then we went to Ireland, she read the whole book about Ireland. When we went to Hawaii, she knew this thing. When we went to India, she knew more India than I knew. So you see, the thing is that unless you read books, you feel, you know everything, but you don't.
Right.
So in the books, I can tell you, I'm still getting the thing, vintage, we say vintage Viking. And they used to prepare the special trips, for her,
Vintage Viking publishers?
Yeah, those ship come,
oh, yeah.
the cruises,
Yeah, the cruises.
So we went with the University of Michigan, and we went with the Viking, we went with the Vantage, I don't know how many trips we took it, with them.
Well, she exposed you to the world. Now, listen, let me ask you something.
Yes.
This is not your first book, is that correct? So
this is my first book, I have written many books, academic books, for my company. But those are all academic,
Academic books.
Yes.
And textbooks, but nothing that was personal.
Personal, no. This is the first book I wrote about Connie. I was going to write a book, on my uncle, Dr. P.N. Behel. But later on, when Connie died, I went to hell.
Yeah.
And I did the cremation, every single thing. And the day she died, I told her, Connie, I'm going to do something for you.
Let's stop right there and let's take a break and hear from our sponsors. Thank you.
Did your bank turn down your church, or you just want a competitive quote? We have some of the lowest interest rates and best terms on church loans in the country. And we have products that are fixed for up to 30 years with no balloons. Over the past 16 years, we have closed over 1,000 church loans for almost $1 billion in total closed church loans. If your church is looking to refinance, renovate, construct, or purchase a property, we have a program for you. What if your church has poor credit? We have our own private money fund that can provide up to 100% financing and interest-only payments. We don't charge any upfront fees, and our loans do not normally require any personal guarantees. Our motto is simple and clear. Tell them honestly, charge them fairly, and close them quickly. Call us today. 800-710-6762.
Well, we're continuing this interview with Mr. Pradeep Berry. I tell you, I'm mesmerized by this book, simply called My Connie. And I feel like from the time that we begin to share that my Connie has become our Connie.
Yes. And
while not knowing her, I think you've accomplished something with the book because you have, just through your book, made us aware about this extraordinary woman. She was highly educated, highly artistic, highly influential, and yet the world doesn't know her. She's also a great philanthropist, and
Yes, she was.
I think you had shared with me prior that you still to this day get letters from all
Yes.
the philanthropies she donated to,
Yes.
who are not aware that she is passed now. But she's left such a legacy in the world and left an impact on your life. You were relaying to me that you felt like her presence made a difference in an accident you had this year. What happened
Yes.
to you earlier?
I was coming right very close to my house, you know, in the night about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and somebody hit my car. And it was a brand new Lexus car which Connie, you know, we bought together, you know, and she paid for that, you know. And so after the death, you know, I sold her Camry car, brand new, and that was also gone as a charity, you know, because she told me that just give it to her, you know. And then I gave her clothes and every single thing. So the bottom line is that I was saved. I had a car accident, you know, and I 100% believe that Connie saved me, and that's what my brother tells me. And after that, they told me that you have to move to India, but I said I'm not. Now, recently, I had some. They found out something from upper IG that I have some problem, you know. And then my Dr. Nicole, she's one of the best doctor I have seen from Mayo Clinic, you know. And she knows every single thing about Connie. And she called me the other day and she said, Pradeep, I'm so happy that you don't have that kind of a thing, you know. So that has related me. And I'm sure it was Connie working behind me. She's the power, you know. She's still in my heart. She's still my soul, you know. You know, physically she has gone, but spiritually she's with me every day. And I see her, I live her, my power is there, you know. The best thing I can do for her, you know, basically carry on her legacy, carry on her humanity, carry on her name. And many people, many girls have told me, when she was in the hospital, she said, I wish, you know, that we had a husband like that. I have heard this from many women, you know. Many women have told me in my life, you know, when she was alive, and she said, you people are just two loving birds, you know. And we were two bodies, one soul. We were just like thread and needle, you know. I mean, we were basically so close to each other, you know. We loved traveling alone, you know. We only went to, with our friends, you know, twice, you know, to Alaska and Spain. And we found out the other person, you know, he was so miser, you know. He's a plenty of wealth, you know, and he ruined our trip, you know, because he was so miser, you know. We went to Spain, and she treated me to the one of the best thing. In 87, she spent $400 for my dinner, for my birthday.
She spent $400 for your dinner.
Yes, and
in Spain.
Yeah, in Spain.
Awesome.
And then this guy, you know, his wife also wanted to spend his birthday, and he tell you, he basically told her and slapped her, you know, that why you are spending so much money. And after that, you know, we never went with them.
You know, Connie was an amazing person.
Yeah, she will spend, I tell you, that practically she treated me like her husband and like a child also, who give every single thing to her, you know. This clothes, you know, this cultivation, her ties, you know. If you see her collection of the clothes, you know, you will see she used to believe in bags, you know. I have brought all her clothes, you know. And, you know, the T-shirt she bought me from Italy, it was $105, you know. She bought me a sweater from Ireland, you know, which was $300, you know. She said, look, took it, you know. On my Christmas day, she will buy the gifts without asking me. The thing was that the charity, when you give and take a name, her position was that you will give charity from this hand, and left hand should not even know.
Well, that's scripture. You know, Jesus said, don't let your right hand know what your left hand
know this thing. And she always told me that, you know, what is that charity when I get the name. She never even discussed with me that how much money she was leaving, you know. I remember when she got the thing, you know, she gave half $100,000, $200,000 on the chair of her surgeon, you know. And then after that, you know, she left plenty of money for the University of Michigan, Carleton, you know, Mayo Clinic, and North Shore Hospital, St. Jude's Hospital, and American Society, and then for the poor blacks thing, CRY, and then this North Shore Hospital, and then there were 2 or 3 more different charities. On top of that, she left quite a lot big money for her nephew and nieces. And it is very sorry to say that her brother, her biological brother, and his 4 grandchildren, and 4 nephew, for children grown up, and 7 grandchildren, 19 people, you know, they never even came till today.
So when she passed, I think you shared with me that basically you were the only one.
Yeah, I was the only one. Not even a single member of the family. Luckily, my brother called somebody because I was totally gone. They did not perform CPR on her. And then when she was in the ICU unit, they took out the tubes with my permission. And at the time of the, when they declared her death at 9 o'clock, my brother had called because I called him on the cellular phone. I have the videos, where I can show you that how she died, And then later on, when her cremation was done, I told them she's not my charity case. I spent one of the best thing on this thing, and I hired a videographer, professional, and he covered the whole day. He was crying. He said, sir, I don't make videos for the, this thing, but I will do it for you.
So you made a video of her last days?
No, last days, at the time of the death, when she was cremated, when I had to do her cremation in the chamber, And then next day, when her ashes has to be put in, then I'm on the piece of chapel, when her ashes is going into the thing, So each and every last rites are there, And after that, I put a very nice, expensive stone, granite stone. It is there. And that is my life, I go there and I take the blessing from her. Whenever I travel, whenever I go, I must go there, And that is why I choose, to go to Skokie Hospital in Skokie. And in Skokie, there is a memorial park, That gives me the power, When I go to her cemetery, I get a new life.
So there's a park in her memory there at Skokie?
No, it is a very big cemetery,
cemetery
for everybody.
Okay.
So her in the Ivy Park, her body, her ashes were buried, with the urn, and that urn, unbelievable amount. I mean, I told them that my wife was not a charity case. I am not going to sacrifice anything. And right now, since she died, I have paid them for the years, that the flower should be there at that time.
Perpetually.
Perpetually, no.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. This is a powerful book. Is there one thing you want the world to know about Connie before we end today?
I think the best thing is that the world should know that your wife, is the most important part of your life, because she bears the burden of the family, She is the engine of the life, and she raises the children and every single thing. She sacrifices herself, for the husband, she surrenders herself, to the man.
Right.
But I mean, she surrenders herself to the man, What a beautiful thing it is, And she does every single thing for her husband if she loves, People, so many times in my life, I have seen, they don't grieve, They immediately fall in love with some other woman,
Right.
Other thing, children. Look at my own father, Did he regret, the two my thing? What was the need for him to marry another one, Did I marry? I'm not going to.
We just want everyone to purchase this book. You can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
And it is coming on the Google, and they are thinking of making a movie also, let me tell you that.
And I was going to suggest that. So you've heard it today. Please get the book. And remember, Connie, thank you and God bless you.